Musk's Mars project. All right, it looks like this project has some obstacles that they have to fix before you can fly to Mars. I think it's all bullshit, but hey, who am I? Trump administration considers expanding travel restrictions to 36 additional countries, which adds, well, that would be 48 countries that are not allowed to come in to the United States. Bans on 12 countries, 36 considered. State Department Rubio, Secretary Rubio, in an internal memo to American diplomats, what? A full or partial suspension of entry if they do not meet established benchmarks and requirements within 60 days.
We're losing the last connection we have to real food. And when that goes, so does our health, our time, and our freedom. There's a reason.
We were way ahead of all countries, way ahead in terms of the poisoning, the takeover of our food. We don't have healthy food anymore. You have to really do an awful lot to find, a place that sells organic, your local farmers. Do you know them? Are they shooting up their cows? Are they, using genetically modified seeds to grow their corn and all of that? You've got to really do an awful lot of work to find something that might still have nutrition. That's pretty sad. That's really sad. I mean, homeowners worried about chemicals being spread in sewage. Fertilizer. Rural landowners say America's farms have become dumping grounds for sludge from the wastewater treat plants of larger cities. They complain of foul odors, contaminated soil, health problems, and stormwater runoff contaminating streams, lakes, groundwater with possibly dangerous chemicals. What a good job, huh? The treated sewage sludge, known as biosolids, is the solid matter left from the wastewater treatment process. The sludge is removed from the bottom of the sewage plant tanks, then treated to reduce pathogens for use as soil or fertilizer. I really do think Americans should have stepped in at some point and started raising hell, but the Louvre is shut. Water guns return. Anti-tourism protests in Europe. Tourism is down in Western countries, especially. They're closing everything down. They don't need a pandemic yet, but they're closing national parks in our country. They're closing down museums. They're airlines reducing flights. And now I hear Trump wants to maybe ban 36 more countries to add to the 12 that he has banned from coming into our country. He's considering 36 more countries. Something is going on. And this is not for our protection. squirt guns, suitcases.
When you think of a European holiday, what is it that comes to mind? Maybe cocktails by the beach or spending the day at museums. But have you ever thought of the flip side? What if you visit Europe and witness anger instead? Think squirt guns in Spain, noisy suitcases in Italy, handmade effigies in Portugal, and a Louvre shut down in France. We ask because protests are sweeping Europe. This week, thousands of people have taken to the streets and locals have targeted mass tourism. But why? And does it even matter? Here is a report.
In Spain, squirt guns make their return to the streets of Barcelona. This week, thousands of locals gathered for protests. They walked along luxury boutiques and hotels, spraying tourists with water. Protests also rocked the popular Spanish resort islands of Mallorca, Menorca, and Ibiza. These islands have a population of just over 1 million. But last year, they hosted more than 15 million international tourists.
Wow.
So this week, people took to the streets and set off flares in protest. In Mallorca, locals stopped a double-decker tourist bus and hung protest banners on it.
We no longer hear birds, only airplanes. Everywhere you look, it's tourists. We no longer fit in cars and homes. We've lost our dignity.
But the disruption is not limited to Spain. In Italy's Genoa, demonstrators rolled suitcases down the city center streets in a noisy stroll tourism protest. In Venice, protesters denounced recently built hotels, which have replaced a public housing complex. In Portugal, locals protested with a handmade effigy of a patron saint in Lisbon. They carried it from his church to the site of a future five-star hotel. Anti-tourism protests have swept across many European countries. Ironically, in most of these places, tourism is hugely important to the economy. For instance, in Spain, tourism accounts for 12% of the GDP.
They don't want tourists in their city or what? Then they should tell the government to stop allowing people to come because tourists don't come here for free. It's expensive for tourists to come here.
But people are angry over the effects of mass tourism. They say that the crowds are growing so fast, locals are being squeezed out.
For a long time, we haven't been able to sustain the cost of living here. We can't buy houses, we can't rent, and the tourist overcrowding suffocates us. Today, we defend our rights as citizens.
Wow. All right. I didn't know that this was going on. The link is in the chat. You can listen to the end of the broadcast, but wow. All right. Well, we have almost no tourism anymore, but that's pretty intense. And they shoot them with water guns. It doesn't sound very welcoming. And yes, universal parks are empty as tourism plummets in America.
There's been rumors going around about how dead Epic Universe is, so I had to pull up live in the field and check out for myself. And just walking in this place, there's literally nobody. There's literally nobody here at the entrance right now. Let's see what Nintendo World is looking like inside. I'm at one of the most popular rides here, Minecart Madness. A 15-minute wait at 1 p.m. This is crazy. That ride is normally at least an hour and a half. And now it's time to check out Dark Universe. I want to see what the wait times will look like in here. 10-minute wait for Monsters Unchained. This is absolutely unreal. This isn't even a 10-minute wait. There's nobody in line. We're going to walk right on this thing. To the werewolf, only a 15-minute wait. Yeah, I think I can confirm. There's no one here. I've not seen a place this dead since the first week of previews back in March.
Now, if you guys don't know it.
Wow. All right, the link is in the chat because you'll see other areas that are like these parks. Tourism is dying in our country. Our economy is dying. I mean, it's pretty much dead. Life on Mars. Wow. Humans will live in huge space oases on the red planet in just 15 years. Oh my God. Luxury indoor habitats made of heat reflective material that grow their own food. Yay! Maybe it'll be healthy. On Mars, robots are sent into the vast Martian wilderness where they explore without the risk of exhaustion, radiation poisoning, or dust contamination. I guess you're going to have to wear some kind of hazmat suit up on Mars, but you can grow your own food. Wow, very, 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 very cool. So how are you getting there? Because, well, SpaceX rocket explodes in new setback to Musk's Mars project. All right, it looks like this project has some obstacles that they have to fix before you can fly to Mars. I think it's all bullshit, but hey, who am I? Trump administration considers expanding travel restrictions to 36 additional countries, which adds, well, that would be 48 countries that are not allowed to come in to the United States. Bans on 12 countries, 36 considered. State Department Rubio, Secretary Rubio, in an internal memo to American diplomats, what? A full or partial suspension of entry if they do not meet established benchmarks and requirements within 60 days, many located in Africa, which begs questions. You know, the white Christian fundamentalists that a whole lot have been talking about the takeover of our country by these Christian fundamentalists, which I'm going to do a video on, because a whole lot of that Project 2025 that Trump said, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. I never saw it. No. He's got a lot of people in his administration that are all connected to Project 2025. What he's been doing since he took the office, funny, but it aligns with the Project 2025 goals. So these can be total bans. I don't even like Gulf of Mexico. Ugh. All of these countries, Angola, Antigua, Barbuda, Congo.
$2 million settlement for the wrongful death of a 2-year-old boy back in 2022. The family said Phoenix firefighters refused to take him to the hospital after he started having a seizure, telling them that it's normal. Thanks for joining us tonight. 12 News at 10, I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Troy Hayden. Caribe is off tonight. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke exclusively with the family's attorney, and he joins us live outside Phoenix City Hall. So what's all this about, Chase?
Troy, Mark, according to those court documents, the boy's mother pleaded with firefighters to take him to the hospital. They told her it wasn't necessary. Then just hours later, that little boy died. You should always be able to count on firefighters to help in your time of need. But for the Clugston family in Phoenix, they said that didn't happen for their 2-year-old son, Abraham.
I almost didn't believe what had occurred.
Brianne Slack is their attorney, who filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Phoenix and its fire department. According to court documents in 2022, Abraham's mom said her son suffered a seizure for the first time and had a fever. She immediately called 911.
She was panicking.